Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the PokerGO podcast. My name is Donnie Peters. His name is Tim Duckworth. It is just about 11:30 on Tuesday, June 3rd. It's day, 8 of the WSOP?
Yes.
Yeah, day 8, because we started last Tuesday. So if you include this Tuesday, we're up to 8 days. Let's rock and roll. We have 3 winners today. We'll hit on all of them. We got a bunch other events that we got to get through, of course. We are very, very much in the thick of things. There's like 35,000 events going on. Tim's making calls at 11 o'clock at night to switch out what we're doing with the streaming. We made a change last night for the streaming today. So like this is WSOP time.
Yeah.
It's just pure chaos. There's just stuff going on everywhere. We really can't keep tabs on it all, but we'll do the best that we can, of course. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. If you are listening, know that we do now have a video version available on the PokerGO YouTube channel. But if you don't want to do that, if you just want to listen, all we ask is that you leave a review. I don't think I've asked for any reviews all summer yet.
No,
so I'm asking right now. Yeah, I'm asking right now. Let's go. Leave some reviews. I also think that we need a new code or something. Password, whatever phrase.
Sure.
Okay, we'll do one of those later.
Okay.
I'm just putting that out there right now,
got it. Yep.
You can get that prepared for later on in the episode. And then one more housekeeping item here before we go in. PlayPokerGo.com, people. A new section of the site of the platform just launched. The sit and go section is now no gamble, no future sit and goes.
Love it.
With the Wheel of Gain.
The Wheel of Gain. Explain.
So basically you go in there. It's like your jackpot sit and go. You go in there, you select whatever buy-in level, right? You spin the Wheel of Gain. It tells you what you're playing for. Exactly.
This is great. This is great.
And the setting of the Play Poker Go background and everything is the no gamble, no future set. So it's badass.
Wow.
It's awesome. They also have ring games. They also have tournaments. So whatever you want, you can get in there and play. PlayPokerGo.com. That's on web. You can also find it on iOS. You can find it on Android. You can download it to your device and you can play. I would highly encourage you guys to get in there because it is a lot of fun. And unlike those other free poker sites out there, okay, the gameplay is genuinely authentic. I play in there regularly, and I do find it fairly difficult to compete against the players. You know, it's not just like you're just getting in there and you're wrecking everyone because no one knows what they're doing. People are just shipping all in with this, that, and the other thing. No, it's not like that, okay? It is legitimate poker. It is completely free if you want to start. So playpokergo.com or find it on iOS and Android. All right, let's get into what happened here at the World Series of Poker today. First up, we had a massive, your favorite word, massive day that involved none other than Daniel Negreanu making, what is this thing? Making the final table of the $10,000 Omaha Hi-Lo 8 or Better Championship that he wrapped up last night. Sitting third with 5 players remaining. This was scheduled for a 4-day event. So everyone that was, whining and crying, saying, you got to stream, massive fail. Such a fail. Guys, 4-day event. Okay, we got it under control here. Okay, you let us do the content stuff. We do a pretty good job with it. And you guys can figure everything else out in your lives. Okay?
Wow.
So we figured that out. We got Negreanu on there. He gets heads up with Ryan Bambrick. But, I mean, it really was Bambrick's day. So Victor Blom, another legendary player who was at the final table, he started with the chip lead. But pretty early on, Bambrick took the chip lead from Victor Blom. I know that Victor Blom retook the chip lead for a few hands not too long after that. But then Bambrick went back up on top and really never gave it up from there that I can recall. Heads up play, Bambrick started with about a 2-1 chip lead over Negreanu, and Negreanu couldn't win a hand. Like, it was just nonstop. Everything that he did, Bambrick just had him better. It was like 2-pair versus 2-pair. It was 2-pair versus flush. The final hand was Bambrick makes a full house, and Negreanu's got trips, and he's looking for, I think, a 3-outer on the river. So just a steamroll from Ryan Bambrick, who claims his second WSOP gold bracelet. He won a $1,500 pot limit Omaha event back in 2018 for his other bracelet. So it's been a few years for Ryan Bambrick, but he crushed it today and took home more than $470,000. Negreanu did make it all the way to heads up play. So, if you were tuning in on the live stream, you got to see Negreanu get so close to his 8th WSOP gold bracelet, $313,000 for him. We did speak with him yesterday. We didn't speak with him today, but we spoke with him yesterday. And then I asked him, after winning that 7th bracelet last year, does he feel a little bit more free? Kind of like there's a little bit of a monkey off his back because it's been so long. And he said, yeah, I feel like I'm playing more free. I'm drinking wine if I want to drink wine. I'm just doing my thing. And he certainly looked pretty comfortable overall throughout this whole event. He had a big stack pretty much the whole way through. I know he did have a little bit of ups and downs, but for the most part, it seemed like pretty smooth sailing up until heads up play. And then he just ran into the steamroller that was Ryan Bambrick. Behind them, we got Ophir Moore, finished in 3rd place. Victor Blom bowed out in 4th place. And then Hunter McClelland busted in 5th. That was the final 5 that came back today and closed it out. If you do want to watch the replay of the live stream, you can find it on PokerGo. You can also find it on the PokerGo YouTube channel. So pretty cool stuff there. What do you got on D-Negs? You were out there most of the day.
I was sweating it. Do you mean this D-Negs or do you mean the real D-Negs?
Well, let's hit on the real D-Negs first, and then we'll hit on this fake D-Negs, which doesn't even really look like
Excuse me, it looks exactly like D-Negs, straight out of 2004.
This is honestly the worst thing I've ever... it does not look anything like... how they do those, statues of, Dwayne Wade and stuff? Yeah. And, comes... the one with Cristiano Ronaldo. This is poker's bobblehead version of that, because this is a butcher job.
I think it's great. He's got his Maple Leafs jersey. He's got his baseball cap. He's got his goatee. He's got his 9-7 right there holding it. It is Daniel Negreanu from the 2000s.
First of all, it's 10-7. You can't even. Why? I don't know why you're looking. His favorite hand is 10-7.
I thought it was 9-7 because from here,
his favorite hand is 10-7. Doesn't matter. Anyway, you know what his favorite hand is.
Let's go back to real Negreanu. Obviously made big run today at winning his 8th bracelet. It would have been the first, if he won, would have been the first time he stood alone on the bracelet breakdown with 8. No one else had 8. He's always had someone else with him, so I thought it was pretty cool. Second place.
No one's got exactly 8?
No.
Right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Few people got 7, though.
4 people have 7 after him.
Yeah. Who's got
Siva,
9?
Johnny Muss.
Yep.
He won $313K. He moves his WSOP earnings over $23 million. That is pretty cool. It was his 8th limit Omaha Hi-Lo cash. Not as cool as that. 274th cash overall. 58th final table. And this is where it gets pretty crazy. He has got so many podium finishes. 7 wins we've already touched on. This was his 11th runner-up finish. So if we just change the cards a little bit, different river, different
change
turn.
The cards a little bit.
He'd have 18. He'd have 18 bracelets. All right,
Yeah,
he would be
exactly
the legend on top.
But you can't say that.
Of course you can, because you can do the same for Phil Hellmuth. But
you can also do the same on the other side. All the times that he won, if you change the cards, then he would have lost.
And if you change the thirds, you change the fourths. Again, I'm just saying, over the last few years, we've seen him come so close so many times. Mostly on PokerGo live streams, back at the Rio and then here at Bally's / now the Horseshoe. But yes, 11th runner-up finish for Negreanu. But I think, he looked, like you said, looked pretty good up there. Looked fresh, didn't look frazzled after losing. He just, as you could just tell that, it wasn't my day, but I'm going to go back in the next one. And I bet you we see him competing for that 8th bracelet one more time at least this summer.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I honestly thought he was going to win. He just seemed locked in. It seemed like everything was kind of working out in his favor. Not that he was really, steamrolling the table or running anything over or necessarily catching cards or whatever it was. I don't know. I just felt like D-Negs was in control, and you just kind of can sense the energy when this stuff happens. I felt it on day 2, kind of towards the end of day 2 when he had the big stack. I was just like, this just feels like one of the big stacks, if not the chip leader at the time. I forget exactly where he was on a leaderboard, but it just feels like that person is going to ultimately go on to win the tournament. And he almost did. He got second. But, I think that we've seen enough poker tournaments these days, especially here at the World Series of Poker, when you just kind of feel like it's theirs. It's theirs to win. And he almost did the damn thing. But like you, I think he's going to be back this World Series. This was officially event number 9 on the schedule. There are 100 gold bracelet events. Of course, he did have to skip, a handful of the ones that come after this one because he was stuck in this one for 4 days. But still, there are 80 plus tournaments still to be played here. Plus, if he's firing any of the online stuff, he's got a great shot to win a gold bracelet. And I think he's going to do it. I don't think he's going to do it in a Hold'em event. I think he's going to do it in something else.
Got it. Okay.
Could very well be PLO. PLO is his jam, after all.
Yeah.
Just ask him; he'll tell you. Or something like this. Like maybe the stud 8. Something
maybe
like
back
that.
to back in
like
the
something
50K.
Something where Daniel can really lean on his experience of like having played the game for decades, right? Like I'm sure he's played Omaha 8 or better forever.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's played 7-card stud forever, 7-card stud 8, like that sort of stuff. So I think that that's something that is really going to work in his favor this year. So, listen, if you're invested on him on PokerStake, if you bought his package, pretty good start.
It is
313K here in the bank. Of course, everyone would have liked for Daniel to win that 470K, but still getting more than 300K in this one with a second place score is a great way for D-Negs to start the series. Now we're gonna get to the 250K. And he's probably gonna wipe it out in 2 bullets, but it's still good to bank that 313K. Moving on, we have the $10,000. What?
You don't want to talk about this?
I thought you already talked about it.
No, the reason I brought it in was just like you said.
I'm pretty sure I have that.
Yeah,
I'll have to check it out. And if I do, it's still like in the box.
I took mine out of the boxes. Yeah, I didn't want.
Not that the box is like in any sort of good shape.
But I too felt like it was his tournament. I brought this in because I felt like we were going to have a winner's interview, winner's story, and like this was going to be the first little item we had on our podcast desk. I left it in my car. Obviously, he didn't win, but it's not like we jinxed him. But I think it's still pretty cool. Little nod to the 2000s poker. It's joining us here on the podcast. Little,
unbelievable.
I got a Helmuth one. It's like chipped and broken everywhere. But the other ones are all good. I got that. I got Johnny Chan.
We should just make some.
There is a bobblehead store at Mandalay Bay, isn't there?
There's a what?
I think there's like an actual bobblehead store at Mandalay Bay.
Really?
You get custom ones, yeah. But anyway, that's the story behind this. We've got a little trinket.
Do you know
probably add some more trinkets during the shows as we go through the World Series.
What number is this? Whose number is that?
I don't know hockey well enough.
I'm quizzing you. I'm quizzing you.
I wouldn't have any clue.
It's one of the greats of the game.
Wayne Gretzky.
Matt Sundin.
Never heard of that name in my life. This is what? Speaking of numbers, this is number 297 of 5,000.
They made 5,000 of those things?
Guess so.
Lord. Oh, man. Woo. Okay. All right, let's move on. $10,000 mystery bounty. This was cool, right? Yosef Fox, who was an absolute wild character down the stretch in this one. Super colorful. It seemed like, he was not in a bad way, but the odd man out just because he was the old guy.
Yeah.
And everyone else was like, a bit younger. Crushers, playing this 10K mystery bounty. And then over here, you just got this kind of wild old guy that's just, doing his thing. He's cheering for cards when he's all in. He's rooting crazy when he's got pulls at the mystery bounty. So that was super fun. Now, 6 years ago, his son, Jordan, won a bracelet. And if my memory serves me correctly, I interviewed Jordan after he won that tournament. It was like I don't know. It was like a $600 Deepstack, or can you look it up what it was? Jordan Fox. Jordan with an E at the end. Yeah. Look up what he won. I think it was a smaller buy-in, no limit hold'em tournament.
It was like 2K no limit or something.
Yeah, it was sub 5K, I think, for sure.
1K no limit hold'em double stack. 420,000.
Exactly. And again, if my memory serves me correctly, I interviewed him afterwards, and like, his dad was like around, and I think his dad like kind of kept yelling into like the microphone, and like they were all super happy, and it was this whole like family moment. Like it was super cool. So it was also now cool to see it come full circle where Jordan's on the rail and his dad is winning the bracelet. Like that was just awesome. $729,000 for Yosef. He told Poker News afterwards that it was incredible. I watched my son win a bracelet in 2019. It was incredible then. It feels even better now, but now he's got to come back and win a second one, which is okay. And I remember that too from that interview, is they were kind of like talking about the rivalry type of thing, like between them, you know? So yeah. So
Jordan was here today, right? I think I saw him.
Pretty sure he was here. I think he's in the winner's photo.
Yeah.
So that was super cool. And with that, I mean, now I'm gonna lean on you a bit, but both of those tournaments, PGT qualifying events, both the one that Ryan Brambeck won, the 10K Omaha Hi-Lo Championship, and then this one that Yosef Fox won, the $10,000 mystery bounty. So I'm sure we had some movement,
we had some shaking and
on
bacon on the leaderboard. Biggest move, obviously, Daniel Negreanu. He moves into second place, 1,125 points.
Which you got wrong yesterday.
Which I got wrong. I was about to apologize to the people listening. I thought second place would actually get him over Eric Blair, but I was off by a couple points. So, yeah, Negreanu 11 caches.
Is Eric Blair here, by the way? Is he?
I saw him bubble the first high roller, I think.
For as hot as he was on the PGT, not so hot here.
Slow start. Yeah. Negreanu 11 caches, 1.385 million in PGT earnings this season. Finished, for top 3 again last year on the PGT leaderboard. And, he's already making that run, sitting in second place. Alex Foxen, Kristen Foxen, Joey Weissman all picked up caches in that mystery bounty. So they add to their points position, along with Chino Ream and Eric Blair. They're the only 5 players with 1,000 or more PGT points, which we think is fairly safe for the $1 million championship at the end of the season. And then obviously we've touched on Yosef Fox. He's now 13th, 729 points, just bang, straight up there. Hopefully we see him in some PGT events. And obviously he beat Alejandro Pinado, who's now 20th. And that's kind of the biggest, movement, when it comes to the PGT leaderboard. But we have some events going on that's really going to shake things up in the next couple of days.
And then just quickly to wrap up on the mystery bounty, Yosef Fox also won the $250,000 bounty, the biggest bounty that was in play. You mentioned Alejandro Pinado finishing in second place. He did for $486K. James Mendoza got third. Richard Green got fourth. Patrick Kennedy got fifth. Chow Dwan got sixth. Joe Cotta, we all know who Joe Cotta is, got seventh. Miles Mulally got eighth. And then Jordan Siegel cashed in ninth place. Next up for our winners, we had a trio of them today. Brad Ruben, 5 bracelets in 5 years for Mr. Bradley Ruben. I mean, this guy I feel like is underrated, overlooked, never thought of, however you want to describe him. Whenever we talk about people with 4, 5, 6, 7 bracelets, the names Sean Deeb, Jeremy Osmus, Daniel Negreanu, like those are the names that are thrown around, right?
Yeah.
No one's out here throwing around Bradley Ruben's name, but he's doing the damn thing. So pretty crazy to see him win another gold bracelet. He won the $1,500 no limit deuce to 7 single draw. He took that one down for $130,000. He beat Han Lu in heads up play. Yuki Zhu, aka Rich Zhu, got third. Jun Wang got fourth. Another kind of overlooked / underrated player, Brian Yoon, fifth. Tyler Phillips, who I believe went back-to-back final tables in this event.
Yep.
He finished in sixth, and then Eric Moom got seventh in that one. So
quick stat on Bradley Ruben. You said 5 WSOP bracelets. Doyle Brunson took him 735 days to get to 5 bracelets. But Brad Ruben, 6 years, 6 WSOPs, which ranks him tied for 4th fastest, tied with Ivy and Johnny Muss, Phil Ivy and Johnny Muss for 5 bracelets in 6 WSOPs. So obviously Ruben's conditions are a little different with online and more events, but still, it's kind of, we talked about Benny Glaser the other day, stamping his name as a prolific WSOP player. Well, Brad Ruben, 5 bracelets, 6 years. He's on his way to doing that too.
What are his bracelets in?
I believe he has at least got 2 online, I think.
Well, I'll tell you what he's got. He's got a $1,500 no limit deuce 7 single draw bracelet. That's for sure.
That is true, but he has... this is where it gets a little tricky, but only says 3 on WSOP.com.
Yeah, why does it say he has 3?
I don't know, 1 online. PLO 6-handed. He's got a Raz. He's got a 1,500 dealer's choice. Let me check my big duck, see if I can pull it up quicker. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is right. So he's probably you know what? They're probably missing the other online series, is what I'm thinking.
The other
because it was one
series.
I believe there was one online series. But yeah, he's GG Poker. He has one for 220K. The WSOP online I already touched on 70K. And then one at the Rio, which was the Raz. Then one at Bally's a couple of years ago. The first time it was here, that was the dealer's choice. And then he has the one today. So that's the high bracelets.
Pretty good for him. So wait. Is it 5 years? Or are they just counting WSOPs? Because 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's 6 years.
That's what I said.
Well, yeah.
I only break down the days for.
But I guess it's, if you don't count the year that we basically didn't have a WSOP, then.
But he won one in the 2020. Because he won it online.
Yeah, it was online. It was on GG Poker, so it's kind of tricky.
The only ones where I really have the amount of days is when you're on top of that first to 5 leaderboard, first to 6 leaderboard. If there's like discrepancy, like here, first to 3, Ted Forrest. You know how quickly he did 3 bracelets?
Probably 2 years.
3 days.
Yeah. Okay.
He won 3 events back to back to back. That's kind of cool.
That's just wild.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild stuff there. Okay, let's move on. Going back to another bigger buy-in event, a PGT qualifying event, the brand new for this year, $25,000 buy-in high roller pot limit Omaha / no limit hold'em tournament. Now, this tournament carried through registration till today, a couple hours into the day plus the break. That's when registration closed. It ultimately ended with 245 entries, more than $5.7 million in the prize pool. The top 37 spots paid. I thought this one would easily get over 300. So fell a little bit short from where I thought it would be, but still I think 245 is pretty big. You and I were over there on the other side of the room. I think are they still playing over there?
They might have just backed up actually. Because I'm going to cut it a little short.
But it was fun in terms of the bubble. It was kind of wacky.
Fun is a strong word.
So I think at one point they played the wrong ante.
Yep.
Like they were playing a 10,000, 25,000 level, and they had the ante as 40,000.
Okay.
But I don't know what happened. Sean D brought it up, or somebody brought it up. And then the ante was actually changed to 35,000. Now, normally this is kind of like whatever, right? But what's interesting is that there were several players that were super, super short. One of whom was Cherish Andrews. She ultimately cashed with a single 5K chip, half of a small blind, because Alan Lee went out at the hands of Robert Cohen. It was actually Bryce Yockey and Robert Cohen involved in a 3-way hand. Alan Lee was all in pre-flop. Cohen had jacks and it came Jack 4-4. He ended up doubling through Bryce Yockey. But Cherish Andrews, had they played the level as it was originally starting to play with the 40K ante, she would have been all in.
Yeah.
Already, because she did go through the blinds. She was left with that 5K, half a small blind, and she ultimately cashed. So crazy stuff there, how she ended up getting in the money for a 50K min cash. This seemed like a who's who over there of tournaments or of players. I know a lot of players busted out afterwards, but you had Ben Lamb over there was doing well. You had Texas Mike, you had Nick Schulman, Sean D was over there as well. Arthur Morris, Phil Sternheimer, Ben Tollerine, Jason Kuhn. He has since busted out, but he did make it into the money. Stephen Chidwick as well. Dan Smith was over there. Noah Boken was over there.
Michael Munchak quietly making back-to-back a run at reaching the final 2 tables in back-to-back big buy-in events. Finished, he was 12th in the Mystery Bounty, and now he's 3rd in chips. 3 tables left in this one. So
the thing with Texas Mike is he's 2nd or 3rd in chips right now?
He's 3rd in chips right now, yeah.
He can literally torch that in 5 hands.
He could be out in 23rd.
He plays like a freaking maniac. It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Like the way that he plays. But like you cannot like sit at home and be like, oh yeah, he's gonna make the final table. No, like he could literally be out next.
Correct.
Like he's that nuts. But you got to give it to him because he puts his nuts on the table and he says, I mean, if you got it, you got it, pal. Like we're going.
Yep.
You know, that's how he plays. Pedal to the freaking floor. So John Hennigan squeaked into the money. Philip Sternheimer cashed. Cheers Andrews, as we mentioned, she cashed as well. Bao Ding got in there. Jason Kuhn got in there. Matthew Wantman got in there. Yuri Zavalevsky, Zhao Samao, Bryce Yaki, Dimitar Danchev. They were all the players who have cashed so far, or among those who have cashed so far. More than $1.3 million up top in this one. Second place, $868. Third place, just shy of $600,000. So this is going to be a fun one. Come tomorrow.
Winner of this, by the way, will move into, obviously pending other results, pretty much 14th place in the PGT leaderboard. 700 points up top here and $1.3 million. Crazy. Brandon Mitchell is the chip leader currently as they are down to 3 tables. And I watched that guy on the bubble. I mean, he was abusing the ever-living crap out of that bubble and putting some very, very tough players to the test. Maximum pressure on them and showing bluffs all the time. Even better.
It was awesome. So that's a lot of fun. The original plan was to stream this one.
It was,
but we don't think it's going to finish. So
it's going to finish, just not in the time that we wanted to. So look, the bubble went for a while. I believe they cut a level off the end of the night just to give these guys a rest. Otherwise, they're getting out of here at 2 a.m. They're going to come back tomorrow, and we did some maths. This could be a 4-day event. So there is a small world where we get them down to 5 or 6 tomorrow and bring them back the next day. So look, don't rule it out yet, but we have to make a choice. We didn't really want to run the risk of no show tomorrow.
Can't have no show.
Exactly.
Gotta have a show.
So we made an audible. Some people are going to get upset at us, but we do what's best for business, as we like to say.
I mean, it's okay.
Yep.
It's just, combination of the fact that I think the structure is really good.
Mm-hmm.
These players not going broke. Bubble took forever. All that sort of stuff at play here. So there's that. $1,500 mixed PLO. Or mixed Omaha, right? That's what it's called.
Yep.
I don't know why it says that on my screen, but whatever. How far are these guys down? Where are they at? Tyler Brown is chip leader.
33 players left from the 1,239 entrant.
This is the one that had a massive jump.
Yeah, and you already
went from
touched on
800 and something to 1,200 and something.
Yeah, you touched on Tyler Brown. We also got David Schmuel, who's already won a bracelet this year. So chance he's third in chips. Going to keep that streak alive. 25 years running of
What did he win?
double bracelet winners. He won
the $1,500 limit Omaha.
That's the Hi-Lo.
He beat.
Yep.
Who did he beat heads up? Schreiber? Was that the one? No, Schreiber lost to Benny. I forget.
But yeah, he's in the running to win that second bracelet already. Remember, I think I said on early podcast, June 15th is going to happen. So we're on the track for that. Thomas Taylor still in. Bart Hansen, Rhett Porter, Ryan LaPlante, Benny Glazer looking for that second bracelet, keep that streak going. And Paz is still in there. And also Caleb Firth. He may also be the guy
Bruno
to win a second bracelet. So
Chris Vitch,
Andrew Yade. Yeah, there's still a lot of pretty decent names in this. In the old mixed Omaha that's going to conclude on Wednesday, most likely.
All right, cool. What's first place in this one? $258K. Holy crap, that's a lot of money for a $1,500 buying tournament. So we'll keep tabs on that, of course. The event that we do plan on streaming on Wednesday, June 4th, is the $1,500 Six Max tournament. Can you look up the entries that it had last year again? I believe it was down slightly, if I remember. It was like 2,500 last year, 2,354 this year. First place in this one is $414,950. They are down to the final 11 players. We recently lost bracelet winners Pablo Maris, Tristan Wade in 17th, Alexandros Colonius, David Funkhauser. Colonius went out in 22nd, Funkhauser 25th. Nick Marchington busted in 30th. Bradley Gafford was out in 35th. So down to the final 11. And it looks like Demarge Davenport. Is the current chip leader. This is cool. Shundan Zhao is second in chips, female player.
Yes.
We talked about on our predictions pod is a female player going to win an open event at the 2025 World Series of Poker. And so far, she's looking pretty good, sitting second in chips. Brown Balla is also in there. David Jackson. Remember when he went heads up with Phil Hellmuth in the 3K NL? Denied Phil Hellmuth a bracelet several years ago. Oscar Johansson's in there, as is Aaron Overton. So down to the final 11 there. The plan is to stream this one. It is a 6-handed event. We will stream it on Wednesday on PokerGo. So
2,526 players last year.
So slightly down. Not that much. But very good turnout there. And these guys, I'm assuming, are going to be blasting away because that's what 6-handed big bet poker is. So I'm looking forward to that one on the stream tomorrow. More big bet action. $600 PLO Deepstack. Today was day one. 2-day event. 2,399 entries. First place, 193,000. Second place, 129,000. So 2 6-figure scores there. Do we have anyone notable in the chips, sir?
Look, I'm scrolling. We got Joshua.
Bob Slezak, Josh Aryeh.
He's right up there. There's Nick Rigby. He's got some chips like Leaf Force.
This
Mike
guy
Dentale, Stephen Hubbard.
just shows up every summer and just crushes some PLO event.
Why not? Ryan Reese is in there.
I don't really understand how it works.
Mo Nawara says he has some chippies.
No, he's out.
He's out? Well, they need to update the chip counts.
He's out because I've looked at his Instagram story and he's at home with my dogs on the couch. So he's
maybe
for sure.
bagged.
He's for sure. I know he's out.
Okay.
Trust me, he's out. He's been out forever. See, this is the problem. This is it's just a problem with me. We record the podcast video on my iPhone. I don't have access to the app when my iPhone is over there.
You can check. I think the app is desktop compatible too.
Is it really?
I think there is a version on there, but I can pull it up. I was looking at my.
Well, because obviously I can't trust these chip counts if they're just, if they got Mo in there.
All right, here we go.
But this is what I was saying yesterday. Use the app to your advantage. They bust people out of the app.
You're not going to like this.
What?
King John Riordan, 7th in chips.
I mean, I love John Riordan.
I know. I bet we wanted him on 25K fantasy. Who else? Yeah, I'm not really seeing anyone that stands out as I scroll down the top 50, but does say 108 players left from the 3,100 starting field. Looks like they're dealing the last few hands of the day right now.
Okay. That's a 2-day event. They'll finish it out tomorrow. These sub 1Ks, these quote unquote deep stack events, they play pretty fast at the end. So there will be plenty of blood on Wednesday for that one. We got the 2K No Limit Texas Hold'em, the Cadillac. Oh my gosh, the chip leader, Jesse Lonis.
Yep.
Mr. 16-1.
Too good of a price.
Too
good of a price.
For what?
I should be like at least 12-1 to win the main event.
Is this over? What's the deal with this?
No, so they're still playing.
They're playing in the money bubble.
They're getting close to they're very close to the money. 30 players off right now. This is the final level, 12 minutes left, so it looks like they'll fall short of the money tonight. As you mentioned, Jesse Lonis, he is, I guess, on this second in chips, but still got piles, 142 big blinds. Craig Varnell, Miles Mullally, they're in the top 10. Scroll down a little further. We've got William Alex Foxon with 60 big blinds. Michael Burke, a lot of PGT players here. Taylor Wilson, Brian Green, all with some chips. And Martin Crombrell rounding out the top 50. And 51st place, David Chino Ream, 42 big blinds. So keep scrolling, lots of big names. This is going to be a fun one. This is this is the scheduled stream for Thursday. But
this is a cool tournament. I love the 2K.
As we mentioned.
Slightly pricier, which, you basically get all the $1,500 players in there, but you get a little bit of a beefed up prize pool there. $436,000 up top, $290 for second, $210 for third. Almost 1,700 entries in the field. 1,692, baby. That's what's out there. So a lot of fun here. I like it. I think it's good.
I like this buying because it reminds us of those like WSOP classic days. Remember they used to do the 1K
No,
no limit hold'ems, the 2K no limit hold'ems. You know, and it's a very unique price point, like in the poker industry in general, right? There's lots of 1Ks and 1100s.
I love it.
Lots of 3500s. You don't see the 2Ks.
I always thought they should do like a 4K.
Yeah.
Like they should
4K
just do
4
like
max.
I'm in. I'm in. And honestly, I think that one of the reasons why they got away, and I have no idea, but I'm just guessing, is that one of the reasons why you get away from the 4 max, because I thought that was a cool tournament, I thought it was very well attended, is it just takes up so much.
Yeah, very labor intensive.
Right? Yeah. You need so many more dealers because you're only playing forehand. You need so many more tables. So it's just a giant pain in the ass. I get it. But with this app now here, everything has been going so smoothly.
Yeah.
I feel like up until this year, I've heard a lot more about dealer quality. I haven't really heard much at all about dealer quality this time around. Now maybe I'm just missing it and I'm not paying attention, but it seems like things are better.
Yeah.
So bring back the 4 max. I love it. And if you do a 4K, the field's going to be a little bit smaller because it's not like a 1500, right?
Yeah.
You know, so 4K 4 max, I'm in. I think you should do it.
I love it.
I'm in.
Maybe this is bring this over to the PGT somehow.
Where the hell are you going to fit a 4 max tournament in the studio?
We'll play 7 flights in the studio.
We don't have enough space. You know, we might need to go 12 max.
God,
4 max.
That,
what's wrong with you? Yeah, bring back the 4 max. Let's go. 4 max. 10K dealer's choice 6-handed. Yeah, this one is fun. And look who is near the top of the counts to end day 1. This guy right here. D-Negs. D-Negs. I'm pointing to the bobblehead. For those of you on audio, I'm pointing to the bobblehead on our table.
There's another name I'm looking at. Just above D-Negs.
Adam Friedman.
How many times is he going to win this event?
I know.
Adam,
it's
you need to maybe retire from playing the dealer's choice. Just let other people win.
It's not that he should retire. It's that the other players should just boycott.
Oh, you know that's happening in WSOP.
What?
That happened once.
What do you mean? They boycotted because of a player?
Maury told me this story once. It was 5 card stud high low or 5 card stud or whatever it was. And this guy loved to play it. And no one signed up. And they basically like gave him, like kind of said, we're not playing this event. You can have it. But they made the story be like he was the best player in the world and everyone was scared to play him. So he was given the bracelet. But really everyone just hated that game. I'm going to have to double check that more.
So it really didn't happen. So you're lying.
I can look. I'm going to find it right now. You go run. I'll pull it up.
Well, you're lying.
I'm not lying. We're deep in the. I'll find this right now.
I can't believe that Friedman won this event 3 years in a row and is now setting himself up to win it again. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Here it is. Bill Boyd. Okay.
Yeah.
1973 World Series of Poker. 10,000 limit 5 card stud. Entrance 1. In the money 1. Bracelet 1.
Back before they canceled tournaments. So is there a rule? Because obviously there's a rule online. Like, I think on WSB.com you need 8 players to start the tournament or else it just gets auto canceled. Is there a rule for live?
You know what? They probably won in the big rule book.
Like, let's say the 250K super high roller. Yeah. There's 2 people signed up. It's D-Nags and Phil Ivey. I mean, do they play for the bracelet? Do they cancel the tournament? Like, what happens? Obviously, this is never going to happen, right? But hypothetically speaking, what would happen? Is there a rule?
So
like,
I'm going to guess
funny,
there
right?
is, but written in the bigger rule book that no one really looks at. I'm sure there is.
I mean, right? There has to be, but I'm saying like oftentimes the rule book is kind of like carried through.
Yeah.
So I just don't know. Like if that rule is never touched and it's just an old rule, then maybe you get a Bill Boyd situation.
Can I throw you something else from the 1973 World Series?
Yeah, sure. By the way, I want to get Maury on the podcast at some point just to do like Maury stories. Just asking about stuff like this.
$3,000 no limit deuce 7 draw, 11 entrance. Not bad. Okay. Jack Strauss Aubrey Day got heads up. They decided to chop it. It happens a lot. right? Happens a lot. Chop
Sure,
it up.
Sure.
But when there's a bracelets involved, it's a little different. But, back then, they weren't bracelets. I don't know if you know that. There was silver cups.
I do know
yeah,
that.
You did? Okay. First bracelet was, I think, 76? Yep. In 1976, WSOP started the tradition of awarding bracelets to event winners. So they retroactively, is that the right word? Retroactively?
Yeah.
Retroactively gave bracelets out to the people. They both regard Jack Strass and Aubrey Day as winning a bracelet each. So that was the first. That was essentially.
You know why this is so funny is because there's such a big hullabaloo like these days about, oh, you won this bracelet online, or you won this bracelet online, but it was only in Pennsylvania. This is a fake bracelet. This is real. It has to be live. It has to be in Vegas. Like, WSOP Europe, WSOP Asia Pacific doesn't count. There was 35 players in whatever that one event was. This nonsense that they were doing back in the day, I mean, discredits like the first 15 years of the WSOP. Like two people got bracelets. One guy got a bracelet because he was the only person to register for the event. Like,
they were so scared.
What the heck is happening back then?
Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Puggy Pearson, 8 players. He won the limit 7-card stud. Joe Bernstein, he won the limit ace to 5. He beat 7 entrants. Bill Boyd, we mentioned that 1 of 1. Jack Strauss every day. We chopped up 11 hand. Puggy Pearson, this is the year he won 3 bracelets. First player to do it. He defeated.
Was he the only person to sign up in all 3 tournaments? Is that what happened?
Defeated 17 players in the 1K no limit hold'em. 117K winner take all. A lot of winner take alls back in those days.
Yeah, because 6 people played.
17. Then he won Then he won the 13 entrant world championship for 130K. Puggy Pearson 3 bracelets. 1973 World Series of Poker.
It's not real.
It is real. This is the history of the World Series of Poker.
We need to get Maury on the podcast, right? And we need to just have this up and just be like, okay, what the heck happened here, Maury? What happened here? And what happened here? What's
funny is
I want to know about this stuff.
This doc that I have a tab called questions, and it's got things like, what is, explain this. Like, my first question, if I ever get to talk to Jack Binion, what was the thought behind the Silver Cup? Why did it not continue? Why did we go from this to this, transition from the sterling plate to the bracelet, first rebuy was deuce. What was the thought of trying this? I have all these things that we don't have answers on because we were, not even born yet, but stuff like that. Exactly. We
also, why a bracelet?
Yeah.
You obviously went from the Silver Cup to something, but why was that something a bracelet? What was the reason for it to be a bracelet? I find that interesting. It could have been anything. Could have been a ring. It could have been a watch. It could have been a trophy. It could have been a freaking new car. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I do just find that interesting. But those days are just so intriguing to me to want to know more about. So, and I know you and I obviously talk to Maury a lot, and he dives into these stories as you outlined before. But I think we need to dive a little bit deeper and also bring those stories to life a bit. So this dealer's choice, back to that, looks like 121 entries on day 1, but registration's open, right?
Till tomorrow. Yep.
They do the whole 2 levels.
That one is, I believe 2 levels. 141 entrants last year.
Okay, so it'll get close. Might get a couple guys that bust the 25K half and half, and then hop on over there. Obviously depending on how things go, but there are some candidates. Sean Deeb, Ben Lamb, Nick Schulman, those types of guys.
Steven Chidwick,
those types of guys would also likely jump into the dealer's choice should it be available to them. Are there re-entries in this dealer's choice?
Championship event? No, right?
I don't think they are, but I always feel like I'm surprised when I find out what the answer was. All right,
freeze out.
Cool. What do we have tomorrow? Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Well,
June
we have the
4th.
big baby $500 Colossus starting tomorrow, day 1A. 4 flights of that, culminating with the big 1D on this Saturday. So the $1,500.
Don't overlook the fact that they increased the buy-in on
I know,
the Colossus.
a little $100. Yeah, I know. They priced me right.
The thing is I know it. For each individual buy-in, it's not a lot, 400 to 500, but an extra $100 for like 18,000 entries is going to make the prize pool quite a bit larger.
Yeah, and like you do say, you probably rule out some rebuys. You may, someone might only have 2,000, so they can only do 4 bullets, at the 500 where they were doing 5 bullets at the old 400. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But another event, 1,500 no limit hold'em shootout. We also have
which has 2 flights this year.
Same as last year, right? That had 2 flights last year, I think.
Oh, I can't remember if they did last year.
And then
they have 2 flights.
1,500.
Which is cool. I like that.
No, I think it's good.
Because the shootout, like that first round, I should call it, is, it gets over at a pretty early time.
Yeah, then you can re-enter.
Unless you have a table or a heads-up match or whatever that goes forever. But most of the time, it's done by like the latest 7 o'clock, like something like that. So, I like then having that later flights as well. I think that's certainly a good thing. You probably could have crammed in 3 flights for all I care.
Yeah, you could have done 3. You could have done maybe day 1A, 1B on one day, 1C one day on the other day. But yeah, it gives a chance for, as you said, people that bust to play again. It gives people that are, say, on day 2 of the 2K or the PLO Deepstack or even, the 25K to take a shot in the shootout, because you win your table, you're in the money. So that is a good one. But yeah, those 3 events are starting. Colossus will obviously be tracking that, see how the fields kind of build, and if we can hit another record-breaking event here at the WSOP.
Madhouse in here tomorrow. I think all these events will be big. The shootout's not capped, right? Or is it capped? No. Okay. So Colossus shootout and that pot limit Omaha high and low. Plus, you can also register the dealer's choice. I guess just looking ahead quickly. Thursday, we got the 25K 6 max. That one's always awesome. Awesome. So that one's coming up on Thursday. Obviously, Colossus is going to still be running. We're in it, baby. We are absolutely freaking in it. Anything else to chat about?
I got a community cards segment.
Oh, so do I. Well, I don't have a community cards. I have a shout out, but because it kind of counts.
It's the same thing. Go ahead. We got to do the dance, play some music.
We got to do the dance, play the dance, or play the music, do the dance.
And it's time for a new edition of the PokerGO Podcast Community Cards.
All right, what do you got for me?
I was over there watching Daniel Grana, got a little tap on the shoulder. He's like, "Are you Tim?" I'm like, "Yep."
No, I'm not.
And he goes, "Hey, my name's Dave. I saw you over here been watching the podcast on YouTube." So one of the, and he said, my wife said, if you see that guy with the mustache, you got to go talk to him, blah, blah, blah. So he came up, we took a photo, had a little chat. Dave and Christina, you're probably watching on YouTube. I asked him, to be honest, like, are you an old listener from, and he goes, no, I found you on YouTube and just started watching. So, new listener via YouTube. So that's kind of perfect. And we've kind of noticed that a lot of, I think, old listeners are kind of sticking to the Spotify, the Apple podcast, whatever, but we're getting all these new people here on YouTube, and they think this is a new podcast. We've only been around a couple of weeks, but reality,
we have.
There's been hosts before us. We kind of stole it, right? We stole it from them. We run the ship now, but we're at 500 something episodes deep. So if you're finding us on YouTube for the first time, go to Spotify, go to Apple Podcasts. There is a whole back catalog from the last few World Series, and we talk about all our PGT events and our PokerGO shows, lots of interviews. So just want to shout out firstly Dave and Christina and all you new podcast viewers. You see us here at the World Series of Poker, don't be afraid to come say hello.
Yeah, and speaking of one of those viewers / listeners, Joel from Atlanta. What's up, buddy?
Shout out, Joe.
How you doing? I met him today. He was very nice about telling me about his bad beats, because he said, okay, I took 2 bad beats, but you don't want to hear about them. And he didn't tell me about them. So it was very nice.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Oftentimes people say,
listen to this story.
I got a bad beat, or listen to this story. Or they don't even say that. They just launch into it. And then it's like, how do I get out of this conversation? What's happening? So anyway, Joel from Atlanta, what's up? What else was I going to say? Oh, we got to figure out how to do the Bubble podcast on video.
I don't even want to think that far ahead. That's too far ahead.
I mean, that's my favorite podcast of the year every year. So we got to figure out.
I've got it.
How to do
Ready?
it.
We need to buy the Ray-Ban Meta sunglasses.
Oh, wow.
I nearly bought a pair last week.
Wow.
My wife was going to kill me.
Do they have a good microphone? Like,
I would probably I think we'd do a Rode mic and then sync the audio to the video. You can actually go live on the Meta sunglasses too.
Wow.
So, if we want to...
How much are these things?
Like $380. You can get transitions, you can get blue light blockers, you can get them all. I tried them on. I was like, I got pictures. I was thinking about getting them when I hosted the Negreanu fantasy drop.
This is for sure what we're doing.
To host a fantasy drop and go live on my Instagram to see that viewpoint.
They're going to love to see this invoice.
Please let me know. I know which ones I want. Are you done with your community cards?
Yeah, I was just shouting out Joel from Atlanta.
Okay. Well, you mentioned at the top of the show, we got to do a code word. If you haven't, if you're watching new, we're giving away a seat to the PGT $1 Million Championship to one of our podcast listeners and viewers. So all you got to do, what's the link again? pgt.com/Gleam. And you'll see all the things. You follow us on YouTube, you follow us on Twitter and Instagram, all this stuff. We also give away a code word. You get extra raffle tickets. We're going to draw a winner many months down the road. What should the code word be? Should it be pretty simple, like Kid Poker? Is that a good one?
No.
Something
else.
Something else. Ray-Ban?
Honestly, that popped in my head too. But how
about mystery? We've just finished the Mystery Millions. We've finished the Mystery Bounty.
Sure.
Mystery. Mystery is the code word as it's spelt here in America and here back home in my...
Is it spelled different anywhere else?
You put a little like thing above the Y, it makes it sound like a kangaroo saying mystery. No, I'm just joking. It's just spelled the same way. Mystery. Follow the links. You get the 10 extra entries. And then in a couple of days, we'll change it up. Give you guys a chance to get some more tickets and get in the drawing. And, you could be sitting next to Daniel Negreanu in the PGT $1 Million Championship. You can use this as a card protector.
I can't believe you have that damn thing. All right, cool. That's going to do it for us. It's past midnight. We got to go to sleep. His name is Tim Duckworth. My name is Donnie Peters, and we will talk to you guys next time.
So, yeah.